So today's session is about the common application. Just wanted to quickly get a gauge on how many people truly know what is a common app, or actually before that, um, who in this who we have who in this group who have as high school senior, because the preference would go to them first because the application deadline is fast approaching. So can you raise your hand so that at least we can get a count? If they are a high school parent of high school student. That's good, like the count is increasing. Okay, at least we have at least 8 to 10 people on this group. Let's hope we will try to guide them and make them more confident. So the preference is definitely to them today. Their questions will be answered first. So so now coming back to this, the common application, who all know about common application? Okay, so before even we start with the common application, I'll just go with a simple question. So how many, I mean, probably you may all be comfortable placing an order on the Amazon, right? So on the Amazon, if you are trying to order a product, you'll just go and you do that one. And then during the checkout process, you get to fill the forms, right? What's the address, what's the shipping address, what's the credit card info, do you want to go with the free shipping, or what's the shipping rate and all, right? So I'm sure everybody is very familiar and very confident or making an order on the Amazon. I mean, nowadays, on the phone, you can just swipe and you can order, right? So it's that convenient. Or you people, I mean, everybody here probably is so comfortable doing an order online, right? So same way, if you go to the bank, most likely most of us know how to deposit a check, right? So in the same way, I want everybody to be very comfortable in understanding the common application, what it is, and how you submit the college applications online. So I want you to be as comfortable as placing an order on Amazon, right? So that way, when you truly understand the application, how to navigate through that application, you exactly know, you exactly know how to actually create your student's profile, right? What is that you need to do to build that high school profile. So it's not only understanding the common application, it will help you enrich or understand what so we are trying to educate you to understand what it means, how do you have to create your student's high school profile. So that's why it's not only the need of this hour for the high school students to submit that, to understand what this one is, and be able to confidently submit the application. But we also wanted the middle school parents and also the other high school students parents also to understand how to build, how to work towards building that high school profile. So that is the intent of this one, and that is the reason why we have brought this session. So quickly, before we wanted to do a workshop on this hands-on session, because when you do a hands-on, it gets ingrained in your brain easily, right? So instead of we doing the sessions talking about going through the slides, this one we wanted to do it a little differently. We wanted to do it more hands-on. So before we start with actual workshop, I wanted you to all understand few basic terms before we deep dive into the application. So agenda is, again, like as I mentioned, like we wanted to understand the common application, and then like what the college admission process looks like. And then like we'll have the hands-on session, and we'll also have the Q&A. So common application. So what is common application, right? So common application is like the undergrad college admission application that students have to apply or use to apply to many colleges and universities in all 50 states. So most of the schools, like what I've seen is most of the schools have the option or like have like this common app made available to their students so that like the students can avail the services that are provided at the school to submit the application. Okay, so that's the common app. Common application, again, like you can look at the URL like that has been shared. So we can just quickly take a look at that, get an understanding like what this one is, feel for it, right? So find a college, like plan for college, apply to college. So this option, usually most of the schools will offer at the high school. I mean, like will offer at the high school. The counselors would be communicating to the students. And so the students can start like using the, I mean, like students have access to the common app and start submitting their applications or get their applications ready. Again, like one quick thing, like another like thing that like I want you all to be mindful is not all applications, not all college applications are available or universities participate in the common app. There are few universities. This has like at least like 1,000 plus. Common app, using common app, you can at least get to 1,000 universities, 1,000 plus universities, but still like some universities are not available in the common app. So they need to be applied through different channels. Like I think like maybe Stanford or UC Berkeley is not there in this one, which I think like UC Berkeley. UC Berkeley is not in the common app. So if you are looking for, like if your student is looking to apply to UC Berkeley, then they have to go to their site directly and apply. So I have a link provided, like what other applications that are out there to use and like in order to apply to all these colleges. I am in New York, so New York State has like SUNY. SUNY is like State Universities of New York. So they have their own app too. So you can use that. So advantage is like once you apply to one university, or like once you enter your information in that SUNY app, so it will be like you can submit it to all the universities, all the SUNY universities. So there are other options that the counselors would at the school would guide you, but most commonly used app is the common app. That's why it's common app, right? So the season, like application season starts every year on August 1st, right? So this year, like for the 2023-24, so the season already started. So I think like most of you like who are here, high school senior parents or students, they should have already started setting up their profile and all the information, like identify their colleges, look at the college information and start getting prepared to submit the applications. So we have looked at the URL. So we'll soon start like working on that application. So few things before we get started, again, like the fundamentals, like I want you to truly understand the fundamentals here. So that way, like, you know, like what to do, like how to strategize your applications, right? So there are three, I mean, like I just listed the top three. There are a few others too, like a couple other options too, but these are the most common options. So first one is early decision. It's very key to understand like what these options are and how you can strategize. So these are really important to to implement, like to use, to make the strategic decisions, right? Like what's good for your kid and what's good for the family too. I'll explain you in a bit. So we have early decision, and then there's an early action, and then the regular decision. So these three are the most common ones. And apart from these three, there's two more, which could be rolling admissions, the rolling option admission or rolling admission option. So that means like they'll continue to, those universities will continue to accept until they fill all the positions, right? Or all the seats at that college. So that's a rolling admission option. And then there is another one, restrictive early action, which is like part of the early action. I'll show you a few examples. So what they say is like it's a restrictive early action in the sense, like let's say you apply to, you selected a college that you wanted to truly apply, or your student narrowed down to that college and said that like, okay, I want to truly apply to this college. But when you apply, they are saying they are putting a restriction on the application saying that like, if you apply to my college, then you cannot apply to any other college during the early action. Or maybe they'll give you like, you can only apply to 2 colleges during the early action, right? So there is a restrictive early action. You have to be carefully reviewing every college detail to understand like if they have a restrictive early action. If you don't and you accidentally apply to those ones, that means like you won't be able to, like other applications won't be considered. Okay, so that's the restrictive early action. I think like some of the Ivy League colleges have that option. I think like I remember seeing that like for Harvard. So we can take a look at that too. So coming back to these ones, these are the 3 most common ones. So early decision is like, what is an early decision, right? So when you have chosen this option, so in the college, like in the college app, when you are entering the information, so there will be an option for you to, there will be a drop down for you to select this option, right? College applications option, wherein you have to say, I am applying to this college and I'm applying to this college as an early action. I'm applying to this college as an early decision. So you can only apply to one college, like among all the 3,000 plus colleges that we have in US, you can only apply, you can only choose one college as part of this option, right? Early decision. So once you say, I mean, like I'll explain you, like once you say this is the college, let's say, like, for example, my daughter is at Northwestern, right? If my daughter chose that, like, okay, I want to go with Northwestern as the early decision, what happens? So when I select that option, when I'm submitting the college applications, that means if that college like Northwestern gave the admission, I mean, say that like, okay, you got like the admission, you are admitted to Northwestern, then that means you have given your binding. That means they'll ask you to withdraw all the other applications. So if my daughter wants to apply to Harvard or apply to Harvard or other Ivy League top schools, right, along with the Northwestern, but she said like Northwestern is my early decision, that means she doesn't even have any choice. Like she just have to immediately withdraw all the other applications. She would not be knowing whether she would get into the Harvard or like some other like universities. Literally, like she has to pull all her applications. So that is why this is most important. You don't want to accidentally choose this, or if you want to choose this, then you have to be carefully reviewing all your options, because you have to look at like not only like you need to withdraw the other applications, but you also need to commit to that financial, I mean, like whatever the costs are, right, for that student. So let's say Northwestern is 60,000, right? So once you say like early decision and you said like, okay, Northwestern gave you the admission, that means you are committed to that 60K. So that commitment, financial commitment, once you sign this one, you don't have any wiggle room there. So please carefully evaluate this decision before saying it, or before setting this option. But there is advantage to why early decision. So you are saying that like, I'm very much interested. So when you are sending this application to that university, so you're truly telling them that like, I'm so committed to come and join your university. So that means you are saying that like, I am not looking at other colleges. You are my top choice, right? And I am committed for I'm going to give the financial commitment too. Right. Of course, like they'll get, like, if there are any grants, if they're eligible for any grants, they'll still get that one. But then like you are saying that like you are telling the college that like, yes, this is my college, because this is only one college that you would be selecting, right? So that's why like acceptance rates probably might be higher. So that's one advantage. Again, like these are all part of the strategies. You guys are all analytical. I want you to look at all the options and think through that, sleep on them, and see which ones would work best for your family. Due date is like typically November 1st, but the application deadlines would be there on the college. Like for every college, there would be application dates. So, but typically it would be, that's why I have an asterisk here. Typically it would be November 1st. Same thing with the early action, or early action is like you are applying to those colleges early. How many colleges you can apply, unless that college has that restrictive early action, as I mentioned before. So there is a restrictive early action. You have to carefully read the college rules or the details and see like if they have a restrictive early action. If there is no restrictive early action, you can apply to as many colleges as you can. Is there a binding? There is no binding. Acceptance rates, I think like it will definitely be slightly higher, because you are saying like out of these 3,000 colleges, I am interested in your college, and so that's why I'm applying early, right? So it makes sense, right? Like it makes sense that like because this is an early action, you are applying to those colleges early, your acceptance rate would be slightly higher. Due date, I said depends, because it all depends on the application, right? Or depends on the college. And then the regular decision. So these were not there before. The first two options were not there before. They have been introduced over the years, right? But now, like, yes, like since these options are there, like you wanted to look at those options. The regular decision, the due date is January 1st. That's also typically January 1st. So that also means like the students have time to prepare, right? You still have time because you're not applying early. If you have to apply early by November 1st, like all your data should be in place, right? All the college details has to be in place. But regular decision, January 1st. Until January 1st, you have time. That means like you got like 2 more months to work to get your application ready. So again, like there are advantages and disadvantages, right? So again, like early action, you are showing so much interest that's why I prepared for this college, like I submitted this application. So the acceptance rates would differ, right? So the regular action, again, like you can apply to as many colleges as you can. There is no binding. Acceptance rates are like the regular acceptance rates, no difference. So how do you categorize, like what is the plan that you have to do? You want to categorize the colleges in these 3 sections, right? So you have to say, like, you have to look, group those colleges that you narrowed down. Out of the 3,000 colleges, typically they say like narrow down to 6 or 10 colleges, 6 to 10 colleges, right? It's definitely a daunting task, right? Like I myself was there as a parent, like going through this, and I didn't know, like, how would you even narrow down to 10 colleges, right? But the students know what they want. Like, I mean, if the students that doesn't like to go to a college in the city. Like for in my case, my daughter doesn't want to study in the city. So we are so close to the New York City, but she doesn't want to go to the New York colleges at all. So she doesn't want like like we have NYU and other options. So she doesn't like that city atmosphere. She prefers more of like like the Northwestern is a small suburb area, right? So the students know, and like some students, like they don't want to live in the cold climate, right? They want like, they prefer tropical climate. I have seen most of like good number of like students on the Northeast applying to the colleges on the California side, because like they just want to take advantage of the tropical weather. So there are several factors, not those are like, like I just mentioned 2 factors, but there are several factors. The student has to look at it in the sense like if there's any discrimination there in those colleges, you don't want your student to be there, right? So there's a minority discrimination or something like that. So you have to look at and see like what's the diversity of that college. You can look at all those aspects and let the student narrow down like the colleges of their choice. So anyway, so you have to group them as 3, as these one, categorize them. One is the safety school, the target school, and then the last one is the reach school. Safety schools is like you have a high chance of getting into that you have a 70% chance of getting into the college. Why safety schools? That is your buffer, right? This means like when you apply to the school, there is higher chance of getting the admission. So there are students like who applied only to the reach schools and they didn't get into it. So they don't have a safety net at all. So they have to wait like for 1 more year. So because they don't have any schools, or they may end up like choosing like some other maybe community college or something like that to fill the gap. So that's why it's really important to have a safety schools, right, in your list. And then there is target schools. Target schools is basically like for your kids' profile, like you would know that like, yeah, this college is like more like, yeah, definitely I can get into this college. So 15 to 70% chance of admission. So these can be categorized. Again, you can categorize these further. Like you can say, these are just numbers, right? So you can say like, okay, 15 to 50%, it's a regular target. 50 to 70% is a hard target. So you can choose that one. Hard target is like, okay, slightly difficult to get into that school, right? So you still have to categorize your colleges. And then the reach schools. Reach schools is like you have less than like 15% chance of admission. So I strongly mention here that like all Ivy Leagues or the top schools are like, even though the student has an excellent profile, all schools with low acceptance rates are considered reach schools. Because like I have seen like my daughter's friend, he got rejected at the Johns Hopkins, where luckily he got into Cornell. So he got the rejection letter from the Johns Hopkins, and later he got the acceptance letter from the Cornell. He never thought that he would get it from Cornell, but then like, yes, like, so there are higher chances that like, depends on the school, right? What they are looking for. So sometimes like it can get, your application get rejected, or it could be put in wait list. So reach schools, everybody should consider like all the top schools as the reach schools. Of course, like how good your profile is, it's safe. It's better to be safe that way. So that is the reach schools. So again, like this is how you need to put that one. So it's like you add a buffer, like having the safety schools in your network. So in my daughter's example, because of her profile, like looking at her profile, like how she scored in the SAT and all of that, we felt like Emory and in Georgia was a safety school, because we were told, the counselor told, her chances of getting into the school is 80%, right? Target schools, all the SUNY, because we are in New York, so we thought like, okay, we'll just go with the SUNY, all SUNY colleges, because like it would it would give us an option to avail the in-state tuition. So that's why we went with the target schools as the SUNY colleges. So they are target schools because like we believe that like she could get into any of those colleges. And the REIT schools, every Ivy League or all the top like the private colleges, all we have categorized them as the REIT schools. Hope this is all making sense. Again, like the factors that impact your chances are the grades and test scores, as I said, like based on my daughter's like grade. So we immediately understood that like, okay, she can easily get into Emory. She probably like, okay, I mean, probably she can get into some of the SUNY schools too. And based on those, like that's the grade and test scores definitely matter. Again, like we also know that extracurricular activities matters. The next important one is the essay, the common essay that like common app essay, college essay that everybody has to write, every student has to write. This is a must, right? So this is really important. And then letters of recommendation. So you guys have to, I mean, like you all have to understand that like there are 3 types of recommendation letters that the colleges are looking at. One is a definite letter from your college counselor. So, sorry, school counselor. So, I mean, like I have learned it from my daughter, of course, like it makes sense. Start building, once you get into the high school, start building a relationship, good rapport with your counselor. So the counselor, my daughter's school has like 450 students or so, high school students. So that counselor knowing like so many number of students profile is difficult, right? So you constantly have to keep in touch with the counselor and keep informing them, oh, this is what I have achieved, this is what I did, this is what I wanted to do. Start like interacting with the counselor so that like you get a good letter of recommendation. And then typically they look for like from, let's say you're applying for the STEM major, they prefer a letter from your STEM's high school teacher. So that's like if you're applying from some English related one, so they look for English major, right? So they look for a recommendation from your English teacher. It's not they look for, like if you provide that, like, so if you're applying for an English and you got like a letter from a sports instructor, it may not work out well, right? So it's all common sense here. So those are the letters of recommendation from the school. Some schools can also accept external, outside of the school recommendation, external recommendations too. So if they are doing an internship anywhere, so do reach out, like build a good relationship with them too. So get a letter from them and submit it. So that is also very important, right? Some schools ask for it. Some schools say like, no, we don't want any external recommendation. Northwestern asked for it and we submitted one. So anything like that adds value to your profile, student's profile, go for it. Interviews, so not all colleges would have interviews. Some of the top colleges would have interviews. I didn't know that one, but so I thought like I would mention that. So Northwestern, like my daughter went through an interview. So alumni, people from the college alumni will set up an interview. You have to coordinate with the school and schedule an interview. So once you schedule an interview, there'll be they'll assign somebody from the alumni, and then they'll have, so before COVID, it's like in-person meetings, in-person interviews. Now I think like it's virtual too. So, but you will have to attend an interview. It could be 30 minutes to 1 hour. So other factors that would influence is the financial need, major, and ethnicity. So major is like which major you want to apply to that college. For example, again, like I'll go with the Northwestern because I'm very familiar. It's not that I'm biased to that one, but because I'm familiar, it would be easier for me to explain the details. So Northwestern, getting into the pre-med, getting into the BSMD is like highly competitive. It's like 2% acceptance rate or so. Yeah. So if you are looking for that one, then like your profile has to be like Your profile has to be like up to that mark, right? So, but if you're looking for like some other aspects, right? Like maybe you're looking for like some arts or some other related one, probably your the acceptance rate would be little higher, right? Not 2%, maybe it's 7% or maybe 9%. So choosing a major is really important because it would affect your college like admissions. Ethnicity, um, based on what we've been hearing in the news, I personally didn't submit any information on the application which would talk about like ethnicity or which would ask about the ethnicity. And I would recommend to every one of you here on this call, especially high school seniors, I don't want you to mention like they'll ask you these questions, right? It's a regular question. It's not a mandatory question. So where they're asking like, what's your race? So we have seen like some of the colleges discriminate, right? Like, so Asian race they are looking for diversity. It's not our fault. Like if more of the Asians are highly educated or competitive, it's not our fault, right? But then like, if there is a chance to avoid, like just don't mention it. This is my personal advice. It's up to you. Like you can make the decision, but I didn't want my daughter to be submitting anything which would link her like that, like tell her like that race. They can find out. Like it's nowadays, like most of the people have understand like or like has exposure to many of the cultures here, so they probably can identify based on the name. But then like I don't want to provide that information and be that like 1%, give them a 1% chance of like, oh yeah, she's an Indian, so I don't want to do it. But again, like it's up to you, but I recommend not to go with that information, submitting that information. So that's the factors. The next one, do's and don'ts. So make sure the content is precise, like essays or anything that you're putting on the application, precise. Precise means like accurate and facts, right? It has to be factual and it has to be accurate. Concise means that means like specify that information in communicate that information in less words, right? So there's difference between the precise and concise. So I just want you to make sure that like always present the facts accurately and then like in a concise manner. Any published articles, anything related to the research efforts, you probably may not have a space to enter that. Use the additional section information. There will be additional information section, I believe. So there will be a place where you can add additional information. Use that space wisely. Right. So some students like they're like, oh, I couldn't, there is a limit, the word limit for the college essays. But if the student writes like like a lot of paragraphs, you may run out of space and they end up using the additional information section. You don't want to do that one. So that's why like avoid like try to limit your college essay with the amount of the words that they have mentioned, so that like you don't take up the additional space. Also, they specified 10 activities, like at least 10 activities for each section. So use those 10 activities, don't go overboard. Like present like the best of those. That's the order of the details in any section is important, like based on the significance, right? Let's say my daughter like participated in the national or went to nationals, right, for the debate and speech. But then she also participated some in some other food drive, right? So which one would I want to mention on the application first? These are the really common mistakes I have seen on the college applications. Parents, like it's your responsibility to look at like the kids' application to see like how they are presenting it. Sometimes they could be overwhelmed, like the students could be overwhelmed with a lot of details, so they miss these pieces. So I want you to see those ones, right? So obviously, right? Like who you have went to the nationals, you would want to put that as your first one in the list, right? In the activity list. Like you don't want to put like maybe the one that you worked for like 1 hour or 2 hours at a food drive, like you don't want that to be a first. So understand each and every detail that you are presenting on the college application and see which would add more value and order them or rank them accordingly and fill those 10 sections that you have, or 10 slots that you get under each section. Plagiarism, yes, like everybody knows, they have tools. The college admissions, like they have tools. They'll run it by, the SS will be run it by those ones. So please, like try to avoid that. It would not help. It would hurt a lot, right? Whatever that the student is able to do it, let them do it, right? But let it be genuine. And additional task scores, if they have, yes, like any of those, use the section, additional information section that is available wisely. Again, like as I mentioned, the college applications, there are different types of college applications. Just go over these. Most common app is used by many of the schools. But as I said, like UC Berkeley is not in the Common App. Maybe it might have been registered by now, but it's not in the Common App. So you don't want to miss those, right? So in my case, like yes, like my daughter, I didn't know. We thought like the college application would have, Common App would have everything, but then we realized at the very last minute that like, oh no, UC Berkeley, you cannot apply through the Common App. So we scrambled at the last minute. So these are the things that like I want to share so that like you all can like make sure this college application or go through this process much more confidently. As I said, like I want everyone to go through this process as if like they can how easily they can place an order on Amazon, right? So that's what I wanted the parents to know, or like navigate through this one. So anyway, so there's a college rankings too. So we can quickly go to the workshop. So if you are available in front of your computers, you can go to the Common App. So just type like Common App and you have this one. So go to the Common App and you can sign in, register yourself, create an account, right? Do it as a parent if you are not a high school senior, right? So do it as a parent so that you will get like and confirm. So you can enter the details and create your account, right? It doesn't take that long. So once you register here, you will see this page, right? It's like it's a practice applicant. So start registering yourself, like if middle school parents, high school parents, I mean, elementary school parents, I heard there are a few elementary school parents. If you want to do it, you can do it, or you can just simply follow the recording session. So doing this, like especially in the middle school, like why I'm saying is like once you start seeing the application, you know like what the student has to fill. Like, for example, as I was saying, like I didn't know that like you have to fill in like at least 10 slots. 10 slots will be given to you. You don't have to necessarily fill in all 10 slots, but use those 10 slots for each and every section and use that like to efficiently mention like the details about like your student. So you get this practice applicant. You can, so if you are familiar with like what the application looks like, yes, you know how to, then like you know how to prepare like your student, right? So that is, again, like that's the intent why middle schoolers are also invited to this. But anyway, so this is like the dashboard, right? So how you want to navigate, like any questions so far? Oh, maximum word count on the college essays. Sorry, Andy, like we can look at the application. Like once you start looking at the application, you would know. All the details would be there once you start like letters of recommendation from extracurricular activities like Taekwondo, Red Cross matter. If some universities, some colleges do ask for it, like for example, my daughter did like an internship at like at a COVID lab during the summer of the COVID, peak summer of the summer of the peak COVID period, right? So we asked for the letter, and that definitely helped. Like that hugely helped. I mean, like immensely helped her college application. I will tell you like why in a few minutes, but then like Red Cross, Taekwondo, don't, I mean, like you can reach out to them, but if it adds value, then like get those letters, in the sense like if they have like so much like good to say about your student, don't hesitate, get that letter. I would say go for it, get that letter and apply it. Because anything like which would talk about the leadership qualities, which would talk about the compassionate grounds, right? What you did, like the colleges are not looking at like just like a nerds, right? Like they wanted like the people, actually every college is looking for a student who would make a difference, right, to the community, to their school, to the community, to their nation. So that is what the college is. Every college, like the main basic requirement for the admissions officers are like, are they doing anything, right? So that's why community service hours are really important. That means you're going, and the leadership is like really important, because you are at the lead, you are leading them, right? You're building those ones, you're challenging yourself, you're leading them, and what difference you are making to the community. So those are the things that the colleges usually look for. So if the recommendation letter has like all that information, like in the sense, like if they can say that like, okay, he added a significant value to certain thing, like he showed like so much information or added value, definitely you can go and get that recommendation letter and add those ones. So anyway, so now that like we are here, and I mean, like, are the parents following this one? Like, are they able to, are you able to get to this page? Can somebody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, yeah.
So once you start registering, like, as I said, like there's nothing, like you can give your details. This is a practice account. That's why I'm asking you, like, asking the parents to register it like as a practice account, so that way you can go and see. So now, like, once you are here, so you can go to the college, right? You can go to the college search tab and search for like any college you're your student would want to apply. So I did like Northwestern. So there is the results. There's Northwestern University in Qatar too, which also has a good program, is what I heard. But this is the one. So you select it, and then you see this, like, so once you have it, like it has all the details, the admission details, and then like the information here, like corresponding information, website, virtual tool, college navigator, everything is, this is all at one place. Your student has to go. I would highly recommend the student to navigate each and every link to understand, like to know more about those colleges. I'll give you an example why, because when you are writing the college essay, especially some like this one, if you look at like, see, if you look at this recommendations, so school report required, counselor recommendation required, mid-year report required, final report required, teacher evaluations, 1 required and 2 optional. So that means like, so you definitely need a recommendation from your counselor. You also need 1 recommendation from your teacher, 2 more are optional, and other evaluations. So this is the external recommendation letters that I'm mentioning. So there you can also submit two additional recommendation letters. So anything that adds value, just go for it. Please plan, don't reach out to those teachers or the counselors at the very last minute. They have to reach out to at least like 90 days or so, or like even before, like, or maybe just the beginning of the school year, high school senior year, because it gives them like ample time, because they have to write like recommendation letters for every student, right? So you don't want to wait till the last minute. Plan and start reaching out to the teachers like way ahead, so that they have enough information. You don't have to like constantly reach out to them at the last minute. Another thing is like if the school has this common app, the teachers would go and submit those through the common app itself. You don't have to go and physically get the letter and then upload it. So this is the students should not be I mean, I would say that there is an option somewhere in the application saying that like the student, you don't want to see the recommendation letter, right? So you have to choose that option, because if you see the if you request that, like that it's similar to like SOPs, right? Like when MS students apply, so you don't want like not the SOPs, like recommendation letters. So you don't want like you want them to be sealed. So if they directly apply and you waived off saying that like I don't want to see that one, that is the option you have to go, because like it would definitely add value. It's almost like a sealed envelope. So common essay, somebody is asking about the common essay. They have all the details, like what is common essay, personal essay, how it needs to be written, all the details, right? Additional details, like you can see, like you can click on it and you can get the details, like how much, like what is that? See, there have the words limit, how many words that you want. Right, so just look at the application. These numbers would vary from no, these numbers does not vary from school to school, but these numbers could vary from year to year. So just look at these details. It's all in front of you. You can like choose one of the topic here, right? And see, they said like they cannot be less than 250 words. You can choose like one of the topic that they have specified, or you can write in your own. They give the guidance. Oh, another one is like, so some of these, like especially Northwestern, like they have additional supplementary essays that you have to write. Why I'm saying that, like it's really important to go over the application website or understand the school website is, I'll give you an example. My daughter, when she was writing the supplemental application, supplemental essays, not all colleges would ask for that. Like top colleges would ask the supplemental essays, but you have to look at each and every college requirement, right? So in those ones, they asked the question like, why Northwestern? So you have to say like, what made you to select that one, right? So my daughter, like when she was looking at the website, she came across that like there is a I mean like program there where like you go and educate the prisoners. So she kind of said that like, I'm so passionate about like, she did like actually taught, she did teach like students before. That's part of the community service. Like it's like she didn't get paid for that hours that she spent tutoring the kids. So she said like, okay, this is amazing, like this option like that you have, or this program that you have, teaching the prisoners, educating the prisoners, is like really like a noble thought, right? Because like I mean like once they come out of the prison, you wanted you wanted them to be like, to be the safer to the environment instead of like, again, like going into the wrong habits, right? So she wrote that one also, right? Because so that means that like it's giving an information to those to the admissions officer that you did go through our college website, right? And that information is really related to that college only. This program may not be there at other college. That's why it's really important to go to the college website. Students have to start like researching, get very familiar with those ones so that you can include such details when you are writing your essays. So if you see the early decision is 11/1, regular decision is 1/2, that means this is the date by you have to submit your applications. There is a fees, how much fee that you have to pay. And like as you can see, like this is, so you can just simply say add to my colleges. So once you add to my colleges, it will be there in the list of the colleges here. If you want to add another college, let's say Harvard, right? So you can select this one. So do you see this one, this option, restrict to early action? That's what like I want all of you to be familiar, like how to read this application details. So restrict to early action. That means if you apply to this, like they'll mention that details. Look for that restrict to early action. Maybe they might have specified in here. That means if you apply to this college as an early, like in the early one, then you can't apply to other colleges. So that's why like you have to be very, very careful going through this. So again, like I just added like Harvard, like, so it just showed up. So same thing, like this is like I was telling you Berkeley, right? UC Berkeley. It's not there. So some colleges are not there. So get yourself, like if you have narrowed down the list of the colleges, look at the colleges if they're in the common, if they are in the common app or not. Then you need, if they are not there, then you need to go outside and see like how you need to apply to those colleges. UC Berkeley, you have to apply to those directly. So once you have this, there's this common app, right? So there is this profile, like some of the easy things that you can fill it up, right? You don't have to, August 1st, this one opens, like the students will be given these links to start looking, to start registering, so they can go and fill up the information. So profile, like I mentioned my profile, but it would be student's profile. So you specify all of these, like this is like very common, like whatever the address, the contact details, and the demographics. So this is the one that I mentioned, right? Like this is not required. This is not required. I don't care, like if they want to know, like whether whether he's, like the student is a female or male. I don't want like certain things like not to be mentioned, because it's like it's asked. Like there is no, it's not a required field. So if you see some of these are not like, are you Hispanic? So these are not required fields. So these ones I would simply ignore. Like I would not. The female one, probably it would matter, because like some colleges, like they want to look at the balance, right? Like they want equal numbers. So this might help if it's a female, but I'm just giving you like what my thoughts were like about this section. So there's a language, like there's geography and nationality. So how long have you been birth country? Select your citizenship status. And this is the common app fee waiver. This is where like some of those the programs that you have received, and so do you want like the application fee to be waived? So in case if they are low-income families, like they can request for it. Like you just need to understand like what those criteria is. So this is like more of like some of these ones, right? And but then like, so once you have the colleges. So this is the applications, questions. So this is how, like, once you open that college up, like this is where like they'll ask you like questions. Entry term. So remember, like I was saying, like, so I think like this is, yeah, preferred admission plan. What do you want? Early decision or regular decision? So this is like some of the options that you have. So seems like Northwestern is not doing an early action, but like these are some of the options that, so if you do an early decision, that means you have a binding, right, to that college. So these are some of the things. See, like here, I have read and understood my rights, right? Like, so about the early decision process. So once you select this and say yes, that means if they gave you an admission, if that college gave you admission, you just have to go and withdraw all the other applications that you have done. So for my daughter, like during the early action, we narrowed down to 6 colleges. So what was like, so I was talking about the safety school, Reed school, the target school, right? What we did was like Northwestern was only the Reed school, because obviously it's in the top 10. So Northwestern was the Reed school, and then we had like 3 or 4 colleges as the target schools. And we specified SUNY because SUNY colleges, we went with SUNY colleges because we wanted to avail the institution. If she's not getting into any of the top colleges, our next preference was to go to the college within that state, so that we can avail the institution, because which would be lesser, right? Less fee than the outside one. So that is another strategy that we used. And then like we had like, so we had like 1 Northwestern. So I think like we had three target schools, and then we have 2 safety schools. Safety schools, like we for sure know that she would get it. Like my daughter's thought process was, she wants to be done by December. She doesn't want to drag this or go through this whole experience of like applying to the colleges, because each college requires so much information, especially the top colleges. Like you have to write like the college essays, supplemental essays, why Harvard, why Northwestern. So you have to prepare like for all of those ones. But for her, like she said, like, I want to be done by like December, mommy, like, so that I don't want to work on this. Like, I want my high school senior year back. So that was her thought process. And it so happened like she got it like by December, mid of December itself, she found out that she got admitted into Northwestern. So, I mean, like, we still have the opportunity to apply to other Ivy League schools. But then like my husband, like, and myself, like at that time, my husband actually made the decision. He said like, no, let her be stress-free by that time, and let her enjoy her rest of the high school year. Northwestern is a top college. Probably she may have a chance to go into some of the Ivy Leagues. We don't know now, like we never tried, but that was how like we planned for our daughter. So it's up to you folks, like how you want, but like think through all of these ones. What's good for your student, like whether your student is capable or not, like think through all of these and then go for it. So academics, like these are the ones that I was saying, right? Academics, to which schools are you applying? So you have to specify like which ones. So here, like you would see that like BSMD program, like if you are applying for those ones, so you probably would see those options. And once you select like the, let's say, School of Education and Social Policy, that's what like my daughter did. So again, like, so you can select these majors, or like you have to select like the majors. I would give you, I mean, I can tell you that like these majors, like even like I heard, even like if the students are at the MIT, 70% of the students, first grade students, would, first year students would change their major, even at the MIT, is what I heard. So go with the best option. But the students would get like good exposure after joining the school during the first year or the first quarter or the first semester, and they may change. So don't be surprised with that one. And the activities, here's the activities. They'll ask you to upload your resume, but then like once you upload the resume, you will have like all the details. Like they'll ask you like the community services, they'll ask you all the APs that you have taken. So they will ask all the details. Make sure you rank them correctly. That is the common mistake that I have noticed. And even if you search, you would find that like people would say that's a common mistake the students would do. Contacts, so have you previously applied? And so these are like the other basic details related to your family. So they ask like, what's your daughter, like father doing, mother doing, like or sisters, like they just ask all the sibling information. And then this is one that I was saying, right? Like why Northwestern? Okay. So and then like if you see like the recommenders, so the students have to go through these pages and see like if they have received before you continue. So they have to go and see, like you have to nominate like the recommenders, right? And then they have to see like that recommender has submitted the letter or not, like they gave the recommendation letter or not. So finally you have this section like application submission, review section. You review this, and then you just have to make sure that you have received all of those. Did you do the Northwestern University? So it's like very easy like to navigate through the app. But then like what I'm saying is like see like all the information that they ask in each of these. See, look at those. So arts of music, clubs, community engagement, family responsibilities, hobbies, sports, work and volunteering, others experience that have been meaningful to you. So you look at these activities, like if you see like all of them has like I think like they have 10 9 of 10. See, like you get to do like 10 activities, enter the 10 activities. So they are asking how many hours that you have spent. As I was saying, like giving you an example, right? Like, so if you are spending like, or you have spent like 2 hours in doing a food drive, let's just say, you don't want that to be your first one. Like maybe if you're spending like 8 hours a week on some other volunteer program or an internship, like you want that to be listed first, right? So that's how like also these grades also prioritize like like they are asking you like which grade did you do. So do the one mention the ones that you did recently, the 12th grade ones, whatever you're doing during the summer or what you did during the summer. What are you doing currently, like in the 12th grade, and then the 11th grade, 10th grade, and 9th grade, right? But if you did something significant, which like even like got you an award, right? Don't hesitate to mention that first, but like go with the years so that like they understand how you basically have to show the progression. So how the progression would be like. So far, like, yes, that's most of the information on this. I would like go with the questions and answers, like especially, questions, especially like the high school students, seniors, like if they have any questions, please, now is the time. Okay, let me see. I do see 2 hands raised. So when I think like it mentioned as when home. Do you have any question? You can unmute yourself and ask the question. And maybe I'll go to the next one. Shiva Bandaru, like, do you have any question? I see your hand raised.
No, sorry, you cleared most of that during the discussion.
Hi, Sony. This is Srini Katredi. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. Very informative. Appreciate that. One quick question. So in the Common App, right, you said we can make parents can make a sample login in kind. But I was just wondering, can we, access the kid's profile directly as a parent, or it's these two are two separate things? Just wondering.
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. I don't want to misguide you, but I did log in. Maybe my daughter shared her password with me, but I did log in and continuously reviewed her application till we submit those ones. Sometimes they are like, I mean, it's sometimes they get distracted, sometimes they get overwhelmed, sometimes they get like overloaded, right? So especially these dates are really important, right? So 11-1 date or 1-1, especially these slight little terms like where you have the restrictive early action and things like that, they can easily miss. So we can guide them. Like that's why I specifically mentioned some of those ones on this call, so that like you can also review, you can also like once you log in, you can also understand like what exactly are they looking for. So it's very like it's very easy in the sense like, so in each section you can see this is the main application, but they're also asking for the writing supplement, right? So maybe I might have used my daughter's password to log in, but I did log in and constantly reviewing each and every application. I was looking at the deadlines, like I was also giving her alerts saying that like, okay, the deadline is approaching, like you better like start submitting these applications. Also, I tried following up with her, like to make sure that she gets the recommendation letters. So those definitely add value.
Thank you, Sony.
So here, like the questions and then the review and submit. If you go to this one, see here, they have the Harvard contains only optional questions. Let's look at the optional questions here. See how you hope to use your college education. Like what would you want your future college roommate to know about you? So they have like some topics that they gave, and you have to choose unusual circumstances in your life, right? So they have some of these ones. You just have to write as different essays. That's why plan ahead. So I would highly recommend like the summer of like the after the 11th grade is important to start working on these essays. Again, like this is one of the reason like why I'm going through the application, so that like you know how exactly you have this, you have to guide your student, right? By usually by end of 11th grade, it is better you get like all the testing. I mean, if you need a testing scores for any of the colleges, get all of those planned in such a way by end of 11th grade you complete all of them. And then summer, like along with the internship opportunities, if the student has any internship opportunities, and like start working on the essay. Trust me, like this essay would take good amount of time. Oh, another like important piece of information that I want to share about this essays is, for example, I know what my student is like, or what my daughter is like, right? I know her because I'm the parent. I know her strong skill set, and I know her like weaknesses too, right? And I could be biased in certain aspects because I am a parent too, right? So when they write, like in the sense, like if they write an essay, I probably may think that like, oh, this is an excellent essay. Oh, this is an amazing, it looks good. But what I would tell you is like, because I know like my daughter very well, I can see like what went into that one, right? What translated into that essay. So these essays are like it's a gateway, like you're giving this essay to create a profile of your student in that admissions officer, right? Whoever is looking at these essays are the ones like creating a profile of your student. So what I would recommend is take these essays, the students' written essays, and reach out to somebody who doesn't know your son or daughter. For example, we reached out to like somebody I worked in like maybe like 10 years back, right? But probably would be a great person to review. So, but they don't know anything about my daughter. So just reach out to somebody who doesn't know your son or daughter and ask them to review it for you. And ask them, like, the question that you need to ask is, what impression, after reading that essay, what kind of impressions that essay created about your student, right? So that is how, like, just don't go with like family or friends to get, I mean, you can go with them to get it edited, but I strongly recommend to go outside of your circle and reach out to somebody who would give you a positive feedback, positive in the sense like productive feedback, and get it reviewed by them, so that you just have to see like what impression it's creating on them when they have looked at the profile. That makes a difference to you. That makes like that feedback would makes a difference to that essay. For like some of the feedback that I have received is like, oh, this for my daughter is like, oh, this essay is, it shows like that she's a leader, she's compassionate, she's a very good daughter, like she's, I mean, she's a yeah, very good daughter, and like probably like, oh, she's a STEM leader or something like that. So we got like feedback like that. So that is what you wanted to do, which would definitely help. Which would definitely help. I would give you that suggestion. Again, like the college essays should be concise and precise, right? So those are the ones. Oh, another thing from the admissions, I mean, like regarding the READ schools, and I was mentioning, right? So I have attended several seminars conducted by the admissions officers. Like I went, like attended like Johns Hopkins seminars, CTY seminars, where Johns Hopkins admissions director was there, and several other school directors, admission directors were there. I have worked closely with like somebody who was the admissions director at Harvard, Yale. So what they are saying is like, yeah, so this is the first impression that you get, like so many of these applications. So even like when you say that, like, okay, my daughter, like, I mean, like, yeah, if she wants to pursue the pre-med track, right? I was like, oh, I'm so passionate, like, and I want to become a doctor and all. What I heard from them is they understand, like these admissions team understands the maturity of a student, undergrad student maturity levels, right? So you can write as much as you can, but they know like how much mature they are, how much truly they understand. Are they truly, like, if they are saying that, like, I want to be a doctor, I want to make this difference and all. So be authentic is what they were suggesting, right? These people know, they have seen several applications, like tons of applications coming to them, like pouring, right? Like every year. So they know. So just be authentic, right? Don't exaggerate like some of the stuff is what they have mentioned. Another thing is like the diversity. Like I gave you an example where my daughter's friend like got rejected at the Johns Hopkins, but got into Cornell. So same year, like I have seen, like I have talked to my college friends and so what I've seen is like my college friends kids, or like in their friend circle, they got admission into the Johns Hopkins, and I know like my daughter's like friends profile is much higher than the other students' profile that are from like Columbia, from Ohio, right? I know the profile is much higher, but his profile got rejected. So basically, the schools look at the diversity. So people like students from Maryland applying to Maryland colleges is good, right? Like you can, like we lived in Maryland, so I was talking about Maryland. So applying to Maryland colleges is good, right? Especially in the top colleges. But then they look at like the colleges, they look at the diversity, right? So they want like people from all over the state, so that like they bring uniqueness, like they bring like some uniqueness from each state. And so that's what they are looking for in those colleges. So if you are applying like if you are a student who was born and brought up there in Maryland or lived there in Maryland, has like slightly less chances than getting into it. I'm not discouraging anybody here, but you have to look at the facts, like how the admissions officers are looking at these applications. So for us, like we applied to Northwestern, so we went outside of Maryland, right? So maybe that it helped her, like helped increasing her chances. We don't know, but there are certain aspects that like the admissions directors look at. Any other questions? I know we went like beyond, but I felt this is the need of the hour, especially we wanted to guide our high school seniors. We wanted them to submit their applications confidently. They know exactly what to look for in each and every application that they are submitting and not miss any critical items.
Hello, Nick. Thank you for covering. I have one quick question on the FAFSA application. It is tied to IRS, right? So if it is not happen, how long will it take to validate to get it, or can we enter the financial details manually? What is the best approach?
No, but this is the regular process. The FAFSA is the way to apply it. I mean, like you enter the details and they connect, they'll get to the details. I think like it would be fully automated. I don't think like you would have to worry about like getting the details from the IRS. So you are saying that like you couldn't enter the information? The last year's tax statements is what you have to enter, right? So
right. Yeah, there is a one option, right? So automatically FAFSA will communicate with the IRS, and the IRS will provide those details. And the second option is a manual entry. So which one is the best option? So because if it is automatically tied, that is the best approach, I think. But yeah,
I think like this one, they get like see, like if you see like more than 13 million students apply.
Correct. But I think there is a validation for the application. I mean, for the social security numbers, whatever you're entering, and they have to validate with IRS to get your financials, right? That tied, I mean, they're not communicating or they're not connected each. So they said they're going to do some kind of, a time period, maybe 1 week or 3 days, something like that. Have you ever, because it looks like you already filled those application. When you fill that.
Yeah, I did fill in the applications, but I haven't we didn't submit it, but I just wanted to understand like what they have been asking. Like we didn't submit it. Okay. But based on the feedback that I've been receiving is like whether you're eligible or not, please go ahead and submit it, right? If you're not eligible, you're not eligible. But maybe if there is a chance of getting like some scholarship somewhere or like interest-free loan somewhere, that would always benefit. Because like there's so many students applying, what I'm saying is like these will be fully integrated, automated. right? So all the APIs would be there, like to connect to the IRS to gather the information they need in order to validate like the parents' profiles, right? So that should be there in place. But I have attended, like what I would say is, like, let's say you started looking at the colleges. The colleges would start conducting the seminars on the FAFSA. So they have the open seminars. They'll start like register at the college sites. They will start sending those links. When they would be, they'll do several sessions. So pick up a session like whichever is convenient and attend those. Work with the colleges. The financial aid resources at that college would guide you, like if there are any delays, right? So they will tell you that, like, yes, do this option. But closely, like, check with those colleges and don't miss those seminars, the sessions that colleges conduct. So every college would have those seminars, and they send it out. So just register yourself in that admission, what do you call? In their admissions account, right? Like register and the admissions officers, and then the financial ones. Like, for example, like what I'm saying is this. Look at this. Yeah. See, do you see this one? Stay in connect with that. Join their mailing list. Every school has the financial aid resource department too, right? Join their mailing list and start gathering the information. But personally, like maybe I can connect with a few others and probably would get back to you. May I know your name again?
This is Venkaten. Maybe I'll reach out to you. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Because like I don't, I mean, like if there is a slight chance that like, I mean, there is a slight chance that like something, I mean, like if something goes wrong, that this is the steps that we have to do, let's prepare for that, right? Like we don't want to take any chances, especially with this college applications.
Yeah, thank you.
So again, like so what I wanted to do, a couple of things is like, of course, this session is recorded. It will be available in case if somebody missed, like they can get to it. Shashank is coordinating all of those ones, and definitely thankful for all the work that he's doing. Another one is please share your feedback. Let's just say in case like if you wanted to hear something else, or if any other things that like you wanted us to cover, please share that feedback. So it would help to improve or like to add valuable content to these sessions. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sonia. Like, it's really informative session. Like, my daughter is going to the 11th grade, but so now at least we know how to
prepare, right?
Yeah, that's a great. This is one of the best sessions I come across in last.
Yeah, definitely. That is the intent. Because like, I mean, like, as I said, like how how you are comfortable placing an order on Amazon. You just have to be knowing all the terms, basics of the college application. Then you yourself know like how to plan. I mean, like we have an excellent crew here, very good. Like I mean, like the members are very technical, analytical. They have like very good strategies. But what I would suggest is please come forward to share your thoughts. Like, please be active. Please be active participant in these groups. So that like it would benefit, right? It's for the greater good of our community. It would benefit everyone.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, sure.
So before I conclude this one, again, like I want to request everyone start participating in these sessions, and also do one good thing, like, right? Like at least I want one lead, internship opportunity lead, before like by end of Navaratri, from at least one lead from every group, every region that we have so far. Maybe we have 30. So I want to see at least one. Please be active participants and take advantage.
So how we can be active participant? Like, what is the platform in the sense, like, is there a group created for this particular?
Yes, Venugaru, I can answer this, Andy. So we have the Buds group, Atmiya Buds group, Andy. So everything is under Atmiya, and Buds is a program. If you have gone through the vision statement and everything, you would have got an understanding about it. So, Ipudu Sony garu request chesedi entante, we want to build a network, Andy, basically for high school graduates. Undergrads who are graduating, if they want any internship positions and all. For that to happen, we need a network of at least members who can actually refer for any internships, or if they know any internships through friends and all. At least oka region lo okallunna, we want to build a network where it can benefit our students anamata. So that is the whole objective of what Sony garu is talking about.
Okay, thank you.
And being active is what I meant, Venkat Garu, is like being active is like, yeah, we have the WhatsApp group, and I think like if the Discord group is not there, then I will try to make sure that we get a Discord group too, right? Start sharing your experiences. Like, let's say, like if you missed an opportunity, or like you did this one and it worked very well for your kid, right? Or for your student, start sharing those ones. So the other parents or other students can also start like taking that opportunity. Like, I'll give you one example. I wanted to bring the parents panels too, like parents retrospection. Basically, I don't know, people in the IT probably would know like the Scrum and the retrospection. Like, I wanted to do something something similar too, right? What went well, I want to bring in the parents panel and say like the parents can share their like what went well, what could have done, like what they could have done differently, and what to avoid, right? So in my case, like I missed an opportunity and I totally regret it. So my daughter like wrote SAT in her 8th grade. If she would have done like the 3 months before, right? Because it has to be 6 months before her 13th year, before she turns 13. So if she had done it 3 months before, she could have gotten like the complete support from the Johns Hopkins CTY program. I missed it. I would have slept peacefully, like if she got in, if she got selected in that one, because like they would do everything for her. They'll help her connect, like they will be the school counselors, they will guide, they will direct everything, right? I just missed it by 3 months. So there are certain opportunities like that. If I had another kid, I probably would have made sure that like they would not miss it, right? But I don't have. But then I have the whole community here to share my experience that like, oh, you should not do this, right? It's a missed opportunity. I would still regret that I missed that opportunity. So things like that, like if you share some of those things, start sharing those ones. And if there's a great, the source where like it's working out for everybody, share that one.
Great.
Okay, so active participant is what I'm saying.
One
like
more, the question maybe, I think Vishu was also asking, is it focused, the internships focused on the undergrads or for the college, or who's seeking for the college admission? Say, for example, for my son, I tried some kind of an internship in the medical, but I could not able to get into it. And then he did some internship with Democratic Party. Yeah. In the Democratic Party, political party. So is that internships you guys are talking about the seniors in the high school or for the Undergraduate.
Yeah, we wanted these internship opportunities, like any internship, like let's say if this hospital is like has internship opportunities, and we have we know like some of the maybe professors or research like team there who's willing to take our students, right? So I want that database available, that person's, that research professor or whoever is accepting the applications. I want that to be available. If one person, like one student is going to get an opportunity like that, so be it. Like we would do that one. We should not leave anything behind, right? So I'm looking for high school and undergraduate because it definitely help. Anything like any of these like work they do, you can strongly present that in the college applications, right? Which would add value. So I'm looking for both the high school and undergrad. Another thing that I would mention is, I mean, like, yes, like you would hear people doing the shadowing or doing like work at the medical schools, but they have age limitations, or like you have to be like at least 17 or 18 years. So some hospitals have that one, right? So we just have to respect those two.
Yeah, for most of the pharmaceutical 18 years and some hospitals 18 years, that's where we got like a problem.
I know, yeah. So we have to respect their rules too, right? Their policies. So there is that one. I mean, like, so if you're I mean, like we would try to, I'm capturing that detail too, like the age details too, right? Like when can they start the internship at this particular organization or company or so. Meanwhile, like start looking at like the other leadership opportunities. Being a leader, like, I mean, like any club, you can start your own club, right? The kids can start their own club, but like it doesn't matter, like you don't have to create, I mean, create your own club, but like by that time you reach your 11th grade, I mean, like try to see that you get to the leadership role. That would add value. That would also show progression, right? How you started off as a team member and then how you became a leader. All that. Oh, main important thing, like I forgot to mention, is like, or like the another important thing is, Shekhar Kamala. I think like everybody knows Shekhar Kamala, right? So he was my project manager when I was working at City Corp in India back in 2002. So Shekhar Kamala did we have at the City Corp, like we have these clubs, like extracurricular clubs. So Shekhar Kamala presented a seminar, like, or like session on like how to write for the visual media. So in that one, like he kind of mentioned, right? So what he mentioned was like, when you look at like any of the Hollywood movie, you have a format. So what is that format is like, so the first half an hour is like you try to introduce the characters. Like if you look at any Hollywood movie, mostly they'll stick to this format. So you introduce the characters. The second half an hour is like all these characters introduced start working, or you also introduce a problem statement too. And the second half an hour, like they'll try to like brainstorm like how to solve this one, like what we have to do, how we resolve this problem, right? So kind of thing in the second half an hour. And the third half an hour, you would have like all these like how they solved it, right? Like what's the conclusion? Like what did they do? So if you look at like any of these movies, like you would see that that's the typical Hollywood screen, I mean, like the script. That's how you would see. Same thing like you have to do for your high school profile too, right? Like that is how you have to do the high school profile. So the first year, like the 9th grade, I mean, like you should think about like what movie you want to make, right? So basically you need to set a goal. Like what is that like you wanted to communicate? In my daughter's case, like I'll give you an example. When I heard this one, I thought like this is a great way to present to build a profile, right? So in my case, like my daughter's case, like we thought like, okay, we will highlight neuroscience, right? So in the 9th grade, like we made her take, at the beginning, like we made her take some AP level courses, college level neuroscience programs at the Johns Hopkins CTY. So she was a CTY member. So we made her do that one. So what it did was it kind of helped her to understand like the neuroscience, like more, I mean, like in depth, but I mean, like much got a better depth in the neuroscience. So then like what we did was like the 10th grade and all, we looked for internship opportunities in the neuroscience program. We also made her like attend like the Brain Bee competition, right? So she was qualified, like she was selected for the national bee, but then because of the COVID, that nationals got canceled. But then like, do you see like how we built the profile? So she prepared for the national bee in the 10th grade. And then she also like started looking for the internships. She tried like all her research work that she did are related to the neuroscience. And then like in the 11th grade, we finally kind of like 11th and 12th, we started implementing it. What we did was like, she applied, so she went for those competitions. And then she also went for the neuroscience competitions. She got the internships in the neuroscience field. So all of that like created a profile around the neuroscience. So you select one thing and build a profile around it, like high school profile around it. So in our case, we could easily connect the dots, right? So anybody looking at her admissions profile, college admission profile, they can easily connect all of those, saying that like, yes, she truly displayed all of those and she built doing that. So another one, like in the same thing, like the part of the community service also, what we kind of felt was like, maybe she should go to the senior living places. And like there will be Alzheimer patients, which is related to the mind. So she plays music, right? She plays violin. So why don't she go just do and play violin? So that like, you can also connect all of those towards neuroscience. That's how like, just like how you watch a movie, create your high school profile as a movie, right? Think of the high school profile as a movie, take one goal. I mean, you have seen these movies like Volcano, right? The volcano, they are trying to solve like how this volcano erupted, how do you control this lava, or how to protect these ones. Same thing, like pick one thing and go for it and build your whole high school profile around it.
Sony garu, one last question Andy, from I think it's from Swarna Chalmal Setti garu. It's in the chat box Andy, if you can just scroll through it.
Mm-hmm. What would you advise to a 16-year-old new to the country and redoing his 10th grade for credits? What do you mean by Sonagal redoing the 10th grade?
Hi, good morning, Andy. First thing, it is a great session. Yes, so due to the visa issues and everything, unfortunately with the pandemic, everything got delayed. And my son is here this year. So he, in fact, completed his 10th back in India, but then again, he's redoing his 10th grade to get the credits. As you know, you need to have certain
high school
credits,
requirements.
Yes,
to meet certain
exactly.
Credits. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he is ending up redoing his 10th grade for that. So honestly, I'm trying to put things together for him. So I was just curious, what would you advise to a kid who is new to this country? And because I want to understand the opportunities or things that I can plan for him, at least going from here.
Yeah, as you have seen, like in today's session, we did like cover like most of the opportunities that you can avail, right? And also like how you want to build a profile and what the colleges are looking for. So redoing the 10th grade again, yes, like probably like may not have helped him, right? But then like what you can do is I mean, like what I have seen or read is like during that additional information section that you have during the college applications, if for any reason, like if you have to mention, do slightly mention about this one too, right? Like how you had to redo this one, but still like stayed on track to, even though it was difficult, new to this country, still you tried staying on track and excelled in US. So do mention those ones. That would be very a personal statement from your end, but it would highlight, right? Because the student went through a challenge during the high school, because like not every other student would have the same I mean, like profile, right, that they would be doing. So subtly mention that one during the additional in the college application. But then yes, like so here, like just participate in the high school clubs after the school, and take up the leadership opportunities. And if they didn't find any group that they like, they can even start their own group, right, and be the president of that group. So they should start like showing, like by the time you are submitting the profile, you should show the leadership qualities. So that is one thing. Education, related to the education, the schools, the libraries have definitely a lot of resources, and like we want this community also to be able to support each other. So please feel free to reach out to me for any questions, because if he's new, even like I am available for sure. If he can, like, I mean, like if he wants to talk to the student, like who can easily connect or impart that message, we will try to get a student to talk to him.
Yes, sure, Sony Garu. I would definitely want to connect with you personally and discuss more about this.
Sure. I mean, like I have seen like some of the sessions that I have seen. We have parents similar to what you have been going through. We'll identify them and we will let you connect with them, because again, like this is about like learning the lessons, right? Like from the parents who already went through this, so that like you don't have to repeat the same mistakes.
I totally agree with you. Sure.
Okay. I think like, yeah, I mean, like, I know like this would be, I mean, like we wanted to get like most of the information shared. It's like, we took 2 hours, but I'm hoping that like this session kind of like guided like many parents in the right path to get the college applications.
One more request, Sandy. Is there any possibility that only to focus on the 12th graders or college seniors, high school seniors, a repeated session, like, follow-up sessions, because it's kind of a critical time for them. So more specific towards them. Is it possible?
Sure, and I can have that, but when we more, I mean, like, do also mention like what specific information you want to target or you want to know, right? So that way, like, if I mean, like myself or anybody from our team, like we will try to get that content prepared and be ready. I know it is critical time of the year for the high school seniors, and yes, like any help from our end, we will be there.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Yes, Sony Garu, I think we can conclude this
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
If you don't mind. Yeah.
Yes. Like I think like, yeah, we have to get this one. And so
do you want to just tell about the feedback for Monday? We'll send that out shortly.
Yes, I kind of like briefly mentioned about like the feedback form. Like it would definitely help myself and my team, right, to come up with more valuable content. So please do share your feedback. Like we are trying to post that feedback up. I mean, like the feedback form on the Facebook, and Shashank or myself will start sharing that information. please do give the feedback. So it would help us like to come up with like much better content for our community members.
One question, Andy, the FAFSA application, when you guys are planning any new session or is already అయిపోయిందండి?
లేదు అండి, October 1st నుంచి it just like we heard, I mean like I just posted a message about that. It's going to get started from October 1st as early as possible. I mean like if you can submit the application as early as possible, it would be better, is our recommendation. I am thinking of like trying to come up with a session to cover that too, because that is also really important.
Yeah, thank you, and it's great.
Okay, so that would be the last question of the day. Like I'll conclude the session for now. Thank you, everyone.